The new Starz drama Hightown dramatizes the heroin epidemic in Provincetown, Massachusetts. I am Gold Derby contributing editor Riley Chow, here with actor James Badge Dale, who plays Detective Ray Abruzzo. Now, you've been acting for about 20 years, so what was new for you about this role?
You know, there was this thing about Ray where I didn't like him. I didn't like him at first, you know, and so it kind of it drew me in that way of sometimes things you're scared of, sometimes things you have a fear of. It's worth kind of diving into and trying to explore these kind of parts of yourself. You know,
So what was the audition like for this role?
it was funny. I sat down with Jerry Bruckheimer, Rebecca Cutter, and Monica had already signed on. So I knew Monica was on, and she knew some friends of mine, and all my friends were like, Monica's amazing, man. You want to work with her. And we just sat down and talked. And then just halfway through the meeting, Jerry goes, well, do you want to do it? And I was like, yeah, let's do it, man. And so that's how we got down. And the first time I think they actually saw what I was kind of thinking with Ray was when we were doing chemistry tests with Riley Vocal.
Okay, so what goes on in those tests?
It's, you know, auditioning's strange. Auditioning's a strange process for actors. Everyone's nervous and you know, including the directors and the casting director and producers, and they want you to succeed. And what blew me away about Riley was that she was extremely calm. You know, she came in the room and immediately her and I just kind of locked eyes. And I was like, you good? And she was like, yeah, I'm good. Let's go. And we just started going and playing with it. And like the world just kind of disappeared. And that's it's a really good sign. I've had that before in life, you know, where you're working for another actor and just everything else disappears, and you start to realize like you can trust them, and you watch which way they go. And I'll go this way. I'll go this way on purpose to see how someone else will react, you know. And we just had a real playful rapport, and you know, I've done the same rapport with Monica.
Now, what about earlier in that casting process? What do you think they saw in you that drew them to you for the role?
It's my winning personality. I don't know. I've been doing this for a long time, and what I kind of feel like for myself, the less self-aware I am, the better I am as an actor. Sometimes I don't want to know why people cast me in certain roles. You know, it's just better left. Sometimes it's good to have a secret. You keep your secret, I'll keep my secrets, and then we'll all go to work together.
Now, you spent some time with the Cape Cod Narcotics Task Force. So what did you learn from them?
Man, they're fascinating. It's an attention to detail, and it's the ability to play the long game, you know? So they sit down and they're starting to set up cases and get to know people in the community and in the drug trade. And basically they're just setting things up so that 2 years from now, they can take down what they call the predatory dealers, which are the top 5% people who are moving large amounts of weight and who are not addicted to the drugs themselves. So they consider them predatory, as in they are preying on people who have a drug addiction.
Now, you've been doing a lot of interviews for Hightown, you know, during these times. Now, I saw another one where someone asked what your process is, and that was another thing that you said, that you've been keeping a secret. But I'm hoping that you've been beaten down enough, I guess, by now, answering all these questions about Ray, that you'll want to open up about
it. What do you want to
know? So let's say you get the script. What are your next steps?
I read things over and over and over again, you know. Where I came from, I studied with this woman named Alice Spivak, who studied under Uta Hagen, and in New York City, and she keeps a small theater company called On the Road Repertory. And circumstances, man, circumstances, and you the idea being that you learn the overall. I learn everything. And then you start breaking it down into smaller beats, into smaller sections. And then through this process, you should know it. I'm funny. I don't memorize dialogue. I just never have been that way. I obsess over the story. I obsess over the story. I obsess over the story, and then I show up to work and I listen to the other actor, and you know, if it's good writing, the words will come to you.
Now, by the time that people see this, they'll have seen about 3/4 of the season at least. What was the hardest thing for you to shoot?
You know, the hardest thing is, you know, I think we all kind of want to be likable in some way, and Ray doesn't. I think Ray does care about being likable, but he's a very abrasive personality, and you know, you can't be scared of that part of yourself, of myself, you know. So the hardest thing is sometimes to have fun with being unlikable. The hardest thing is to go out there and kind of put your ego aside, put all that stuff aside, and really just, you know, give yourself to that character and give yourself to that story, you know, because Rebecca Cutter and, you know, Monica Raymond, Riley Vocal, they all need me to do that so that they can all do what they do, and we all kind of come together.
So the show's been renewed for season 2, and the show's so much about place and, you know, this larger story. And I would say your co-star Monica Raymond has more of a clear or traditional arc, I guess, from the first episode to the 8th. How much do you see Ray as an essential and ongoing part of the world of Hightown, like however long it goes?
You know, Ray represents something else in Hightown. You know, I think Ray, I mean, if you look at, you know, you're talking about Provincetown earlier, and this world of Provincetown that's Monica's world. And then, you know, Ray works out of Hyannis, which is affectionately known as Hightown. You know, I love all these characters in the show, and that was the thing that brought me to it. It was Rebecca Cutter's writing, and there was just kind of just this humanity to every character. So I'll be a part of it as long as Rebecca wants me to be a part of it, as long as there's a direction for Ray to go, and as long as Ray can keep kind of being this kind of tornado of a personality. You know, yeah, I enjoy it. I love going to work, and I'm really excited to go get to do this again.
What's something about that area that you think people should know?
About Cape Cod?
Yeah.
I live in a little small fishing town myself, man. It's there's a difference between the summer and the winter. Yeah, that's my dog, man. Yeah, sorry, he's chasing birds. But you know, I think the thing is with Cape Cod and what happened with the heroin epidemic there, it's happened all over this country, you know, and so, you know, it might be this setting, but I think the issues that we're dealing with are universal.
Now going back to 2010, we saw you lead 2 single-season shows that year with Rubicon and The Pacific, which won 8 Emmys. And then between those 2 shows and your work as the male lead on Hightown, we only saw you in film. We didn't even see you do a guest spot on television, which you said was deliberate. So I'm wondering now how you feel about the choice for your career with what you've done over the last 10 years.
I've lived a good life. I'm happy with the life I lived, and I think it was more of a lifestyle choice than anything. I just I enjoy traveling. I enjoy doing different characters, and you know, I just kind of want to live that life. And to be honest with you, I think the only thing I look back at and say, oh, maybe I should have looked at going back to television earlier. You know, there's so many great filmmakers have moved into television, and you look at, like, you know, what we did of Hightown, doing 8 episodes. That didn't really exist back when I was doing TV 10 years ago, you know? And there's great risky storytelling going on all these television platforms now. And it's a really exciting time.
Yeah, I think if you're doing 24 episodes a year.
Oh man. Yeah, I don't think I'm their guy.
Yeah. Now, what about speaking of 24? You were actually in every episode of that third season,
Yeah.
kind of a co-lead to Kiefer Sutherland, actually. And we never saw you again on that show. So, why was that?
I put it politely, we all got fired, you know, and which is it wasn't personal at all. I think the producers of the show really wanted to go in this kind of other direction. They wanted to change some things up, and so they let series regulars out of their contracts, and they asked us all to come back at some point. I have a great relationship with them, and I had a great time on that show. It was a really good learning experience I was 25 years old, you know. I just come out of New York theater. I just gotten my equity card, and you know, I had a great time on that show. A lot of fun. That's the funny thing about 24 is it's so serious. It was so serious when the cameras were rolling, and then the moment the cameras stopped, man, we had a lot of fun on that show.
That's good to hear. Now, coming back to television, what do you feel like you know now that you didn't know back when you were doing it before? That's changed how you approach the job.
That's a really good question. Because television material comes at you fast, and so what did I do for those 10 years when I wasn't working on television? My work ethic got better. You know, I got to work with some real heroes of mine, and I got to sit and work with directors that I've looked up to for a long time, and other actors I've looked up to for a long time, and what I learned was that I need to put in more effort, and you can't let that homework, you can't let that work ethic slip when the material is coming at you at a breakneck pace, you know, because we tend to maybe let some things slide because there's so many pages. And, you know, in a film I'm sitting there for 3 to 4 months of 120 pages. With Hightown, I'm sitting there for 3 to 4 months with 480 pages. So you know, but you got to do the due diligence, man. I'm going to do the same work I do on that 120 to the 480.
Now, in these next couple episodes of Hightown, what do you have to say to the viewers about what to expect?
Oh, it's just getting good, man. I think it's episode 6 is coming out this weekend. You know, I just love the show and the people who are on it, and you know, it's I think the viewers are just really getting a chance to get to know all these people. You know, you're seeing what Monica's character is really kind of dealing with and struggling with, and it's also opening up this great kind of view into Shane Harper's life. Atkins, I mean, he plays Lucido. Amari Nolasco, I mean, Riley. I'm really proud to be a part of this ensemble.
And finally, you've got a movie coming out in the next couple of months called The Empty Man. So can you preview that one?
Oh yeah, that's it's based off a Boom comic book called The Empty Man, and it's directed by David Pryor, who worked under David Fincher, and it's you know, it's kind of a cool horror movie. It's but it's more in the vein of in The Shining. You know, it's more of a film for adults, and it's not so much it's more psychological than a hacker slasher film.
All right, well, Batch, thanks so much for taking the time to chat. To our viewers, you can check out our interview with Monica Raymond on our YouTube channel and go to goldderby.com to make your own Emmy predictions.
Right on. Riley, thank you, man.